I've been a busy film critic lately. This is my third screening in 3 nights. I hope I'm not going a little crazy. Regardless of my mental and emotional state, I am journeying off to the cinema to go see a Sunday matinee screening of The Light Between Oceans.
One day, this will all feel like a dream. With love forever and ever and ever.
You know, usually I'm not rushing out to the cinema to go see a sort of a potential tear-jerking romantic drama, especially with one of my friends, in this case JD. Granted, ain't nothing wrong with 2 grown hetero life mates checking out a tear-jerking romantic melodrama together.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Quite frankly, there's nothing more rugged and manly. Sarcasm aside, I'm really interested to see this movie, primarily because, well, it's got an incredible cast. You got Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander. I find it fascinating that they're both a couple in real life. They're playing a couple in this movie, and both of them are playing respective video game characters in upcoming adaptations of Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider, paging Rod Serling. Fassbender is one of the greatest actors working today. I think Alicia Vikander, so marvelous in Ex Machina. I have a huge thing for Alicia Vikander, which is, I think, evolved from the crush phase and into full-on cinematic obsession. More importantly, I'm really interested in this movie because it is directed by Derek Cianfrance, who previously made 2 of the very best films of the last decade, in my opinion, in Blue Valentine. And then he followed that up with his masterful The Place Beyond the Pines. And I think I was one of the very few critics that put The Place Beyond the Pines as my #1 film of its respective year. We got the Fassbender, we got the Vikander, and we got the Cianfrance all together. Man, I'm oddly pumped and excited for this movie, but not as oddly pumped and excited as Michael Fassbender humming the theme to Magnum P.I. All right, I am holding in my hand 3 hankies because this is a 3 hanky drama, unquestionably. All right, so I just got out of The Light Between Oceans, and my good friend JD declined to shoot a post screening review with me, I think because he was, quite frankly, as emotionally devastated by this fairly powerful film as much as I was. So, unquestionably, no doubt. For those who are really unfamiliar, Place Beyond the Pines. Let's start that over. The Light Between Oceans. What are the odds that Derek Cianfrance's next film will be called Where Vanishing Points Meet? Anyway, The Light Between Oceans is based on a novel and is an early turn of the last century drama about this guy played by Michael Fassbender, who is a somewhat shell-shocked World War I veteran who takes sort of a very lonely job of solitude as a lighthouse keeper. And during his time, he hooks up with this young woman who's played by the impeccable Alicia Vikander. I sincerely hope that the Academy's attention span will allow itself to go back to September, because I think she is a front runner for another Oscar nomination for this film. So the two of them hook up, they do get married, and they try as they can to have children, and rather tragically, she miscarries not once, but twice.
Dearest Isabel, I can't stop thinking about the time I spent with you.
Dearest Tom, when I first saw you, I felt like I knew you.
What can I do? What should I do?
And it looks like this small, intimate, but troubled family unit is on a road to oblivion. And then all of a sudden, fate steps in, and this boat comes washed up ashore containing a dead man and a baby. So the couple decides, at the absolute desperate request of the wife, to keep the baby, bury the dead body, not to let anyone else know, and then they would raise the child as their own, seeing as they were so traumatized by the fact that they've lost multiple babies that they just needed this child.
Can't just be a coincidence that she showed up.
She's a lovely baby, but you can't keep her.
She needs us.
So they do keep the child, they start raising it as their own, and fate yet again steps in when Fassbender's character has a very chance meeting with a woman played by Rachel Weisz in a very thankless and very tricky role as the woman that is indeed the baby's real mother.
Your name?
Lucy.
Lucy. It was lovely to meet you. Hi.
And then the plot, shall we say, thickens. The Light Between Oceans, it is such a sumptuous and beautifully shot film. I love the way Cianfrance uses like natural light and also gaslight to like illuminate his shots, and it just has this very strong sense of period verisimilitude that I just really appreciated. There's not one waking moment in this film that doesn't feel real and authentic to its core. Stunning panoramic vistas that he captures in the film are just, they're so impeccably well crafted. It's just a gorgeous looking film. Cianfrance is also really one of the strongest directors of actors working today, and this film is such an embarrassment of incredible performance riches. Like Michael Fassbender is really, again, at the top of his game. I think the real standout for me in this film is Alicia Vikander. Like, I mean, I've kind of jokingly said that I'm obsessed earlier with Alicia Vikander, but you know,
Yeah, it's kind of like an obsession.
like, not only does the camera just absolutely love this actress's face, she is just so bloody illuminating, but she just, like Fassbender, she is able to really break into her character's deeply tormented emotional cores and bring that forward, and it's just a real tour de force performance. And her and Fassbender create a fully believable married couple on screen, which may have something to do with the fact that they're a real couple in real life.
Concentrate.
I think another thing too that I really took away from The Light Between Oceans is that this is kind of like, it forms a really interesting spiritual trilogy with Cianfrance's previous films like Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines, in the sense that they're really all about deeply troubled families at various stages of dysfunction that have to deal with their very problematic and ethical choices that end up having really negative impacts on their lives. So
I have to tell people, it's her mother.
I'm a mother.
I think it's his most straightforward film compared to Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines. That's not to its detriment though, because it really deals again with the morality of the couple's choice. Like, are they in their right? No, clearly not. But then when the plot thickens, as they say, and then it becomes a real case of, should they do the right thing and give up the baby? By the time this new information is brought to the husband's attention, the child has already been raised. I think she's 3 or 4 years old at the time. So the only reality that this child knows is Fassbender and Vikander as parental figures. So is it a good decision to, like, give her up and let her go and live with this complete stranger, despite the fact that, yes, Rachel Weisz's character is the child's biological mother? I mean, it's really complex. And, you know, I like the way the film never plays sides, because, I mean, they don't really paint the Rachel Weisz character as some sort of pseudo villain. Like, she is a woman that has also had her share of devastating loss in her life, having been separated by her baby daughter. So she sort of has this unavoidable shared sense of grief with Alicia Vikander's character. So I really like that whole dynamic in the film. I love the fact that there's no clear-cut antagonists or protagonists or villains in this film. It really is about two deeply flawed people that make some categorically wrong decisions in life, and then are forced to deal with the consequences of those choices and then ultimately own up to them. I think that's the central message of this movie.
My sister had a terrible tragedy. Her husband and their baby daughter were lost to the sea. You would have been your girl's age by now.
I think the ending of the film, despite it's a long film, it's like 2 hours and 13 minutes, and I liked how patient and leisurely it was with building up the romance between Vikander and Fassbender, and developing the characters and developing their personalities. And I hate it when films sort of rush out of the gate. And I think maybe the final 10 to 15 minutes of this film, it sort of tries to rush itself towards a conclusion. I'm still not entirely certain whether or not the finale of the film worked for me and packed the type of emotional wallop and punch that I wanted it to. But nevertheless, Cianfrance is just, he's a real masterful filmmaker when it comes to garnering truly remarkable performances from his cast. The Light Between Oceans looks absolutely sensational. I think if you're willing to I guess get over some of the film's marketing, I mean, this film could not be any more different than 99% of the Nicholas Sparks shit that gets thrown at the Cineplexes on a yearly basis. This is on a whole other echelon of mature and accomplished filmmaking compared to those previous films. So again, it forms this really wonderful trifecta, at least thematically, with Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines. So yeah. So there you go. There is my review of The Light Between Oceans. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film. Let me know what your favorite Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander films are. Don't forget to like this video. Also, if you could subscribe to my channel, I've said it a million times. Well, maybe not a million times, but it seems like I've said it a million times. That would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you very much for watching this review and for supporting my channel, and I'll see you at the movies, everybody.